All right, so I've got our idle development environment set up. Let's go ahead and create our very first function.
This video is brought to you by ObbyPies Academy.
Functions begin with the def or define command. So def is followed by the function name, and you want the function name to be somewhat descriptive of what the function does. This function is going to greet the user, so I'm going to call it greet the user. I use this camel case setup in order to define the function name, where the first letter of the first word in the function name is lowercase, and then I use capital letters for each word that I append to that. So it kind of looks like the humps of a camel. That's where camel case comes from. Now, later in the parentheses, we'll put parameters, but for right now, we'll leave that blank, and then we'll use a colon. And the function definition, or what actually is the function executable, starts after the colon. And now we have something optional called the function docstring. This is a string that documents what the function does. And in some development environments, this is actually used when you type the function name. It gives you this definition. A lot of developers over the years have developed libraries of functions that they use again and again. So the definition is going to be important when you forget what a function does or another developer is consuming or using your function later. So let's put the function docstring, and we'll simply put this function greets the user. That documents the function about as well as we can. The next section is known as the function suite, and these are the commands that the function actually goes through each time it's called. So let's go ahead and print hello, welcome to our function, just like that. So all our function does is print these two strings. Now I'm going to save and run at this point. So I'm going to click File and Save, and we'll save this on our desktop in our Python folder, and I'm going to call this function.py. And you may be surprised what happens when we actually run this in the command line. So there's my terminal. Let's get a new window. Let's move to the desktop and the Python folder. There we go. And now let's go ahead and run our functions.py program. And the result is nothing. Now, I knew this was going to happen. You might be a little bit surprised. But the function is stored in memory until it's called later on in the code. So this function is just stored, but we never call the greet the user function, so we never actually see it running. So let's try it. Greet the user. So we'll call it just like that. So that's the function definition on top, and then the function call. Okay, so we'll save again. And let's bring up our terminal, our command line. Looks like I shut the other one, so let's go ahead and go through the process again. So on our desktop, we have our Python folder, and then we're going to run the Python command function.py. And there it says, hello, welcome to our function. So it ran this hello, welcome to our function print statement here when we called greet the user. Now, the idea of a function is it's reusable, so we can run this function as many times as we want during our program. Stuff being printed outside the function, and then we'll call the function one last time. So here we're calling the greet the user function 3 separate times. We call it twice, we print out this is more stuff being printed outside the function, and then we call it again. You probably can predict the result here, but let's run it. File save, and let's see how it looks. So hello, welcome to our function. Hello, welcome to our function. And that's from these first two greet the user calls. Then we print out this is more stuff being printed outside the function. Then we have a third call to greet the user. So it says, hello, welcome to our function. So we've reviewed the basic function structure and talked about how it has to start with def or define. how you name the function, and then you have the parameters parentheses, which are empty for right now, a colon, and then the function implementation. It starts with an optional docstring. This is optional to document the function. It works totally well without it. And then the function implementation, exactly what the function is going to do each time it's called. And we talked about calling the function by using the function name that we defined, and that we could call a function multiple times within a Python script.